We'll be looking at how violin strings vibrate. We'll take the G string and using a phone camera app, look at it in slow motion and also determine how fast it's vibrating. We'll be using what's called the stroboscopic effect. We will get to the violin part, but it is easier to see the stroboscopic effect using a rotating wheel. On the left is a video of the spinning wheel on the drill, and on the right is actually a copy of the same video. Here I'm covering up the right wheel with the black screen, except for when the red arrow is pointing in the north or the 1 o'clock position. You will notice that because it's only uncovered when the wheel's arrow is in the same exact position, it'll look as if the motion has stopped and the wheel's not moving. And that's exactly the stroboscopic effect that I'm demonstrating here. So what that means is that if the frame rate of the camera is the same as the rotational rate of the wheel, the object will in fact appear as if it has stopped moving. We'll be using this effect to look at a violin string, and we'll know that when the camera's frame rate matches the vibration frequency of the string will appear still. You're seeing the screen of the video tachometer app, which allows me to change the frame rate of the camera on my phone. 25.07 Hertz is equivalent to 25.07 frames per second for the camera. We will be determining the rotational speed of the wheel by adjusting the frame rate of the camera. The unit Hertz is defined by the number of cycles or oscillations per second. For the wheel, when the arrow completes a full rotation, that is considered 1 cycle. We're starting at 25 Hertz and rapidly dropping down to around 5, and then 6, 7. The camera is taking 7 pictures per second. As the camera's frame rate gets close to the rotational speed of the wheel, we can see the arrow move in slow motion. Once the frame rate matches the speed of the wheel, the arrow should appear still. In reality, the wheel is spinning pretty fast, at a little bit above 7 revolutions per second. I'm just fine-tuning it here, and looks like the wheel's speed is right at 7.24 Hertz. Next, I wanted to show you what happens when we double our camera's frame rate to 14.48 Hertz. And as you can see here, we see 2 arrows exactly 180 degrees apart. The reason is that because now the camera is taking twice as many pictures per second as before, you see the arrow exactly on the other side of the original arrow. Now we're gonna go back to the rotational frequency of the wheel at 7.24 Hertz. Looks like there might be a little bit of drift in the drill speed, so we have now settled at 7.23 Hertz for the arrow to be still. This time we're going to reduce the frame rate by half to 3.61 Hertz. And as you can see here, the arrow actually also is still in this case, just the same as in the 7.24 Hertz case. This happens because you're taking the image of the wheel where the arrow is in the same spot every time, but skipping some of the frames. So in fact, if you take images as submultiples of the actual rotational frequency of the wheel, you will get the incorrect frequency of the wheel. So that's something to watch out for. Here we have Susie the chicken suspended on a swing. If we can match the camera's frame rate with how fast she's swinging, she should appear still. Here I'm swinging Susie, When she swings back and forth once, that's considered one full cycle. And I started around 4 hertz, but she's going slower than that. So we're going down to around 1.25, and I'm trying to fine tune this. Looks like she's swinging at around 1.2 hertz, a little lower. You can see on the camera screen that she looks still, even though she's swinging, as you can see in the actual motion behind the camera. And that looks pretty good at 1.17 hertz. Now we have finally come to the part where we'll be looking at a vibrating violin string. When you tune the A string to 440 hertz, that means that the string is actually moving back and forth 440 cycles per second, or at 440 hertz. The G string is nominally at 196 hertz, so it will be much easier to capture that with the camera. We're going to use a tuner app to verify that the G string has been tuned close to 196 hertz. Notice here that when the string vibrates, it looks blurry because it's vibrating pretty fast at 195 hertz. Looks like I have tuned the G string to 195 hertz, a little bit off from 196, but that should be fine. Next, we will look at the vibrating string using the camera app where we can change the frame rate. I have set the tachometer app frequency at 185 hertz, which is around 10 hertz lower than the actual string frequency of around 195 hertz. Okay, so as I bow across this G string here, you're gonna see the wobbling of the string. As I increase the frame rate of the camera, you can see the string appearing to slow down. In reality though, it is still vibrating around 196 hertz. And similarly with Susie the chicken example, when we're very close but a little bit off from the actual vibrating frequency of the string, you can see the string move in slow motion. At 195.5 hertz, the string appears still. This is where our camera's frame rate and the vibration frequency of the string are identical. I hope you have a better understanding of how violin strings vibrate and what it means when the A string is tuned to 440 hertz or the G string to 196 hertz. If you have any questions, please post below.